everybody. Today we are playing Star Garden.
Welcome to Star Garden.
Look at how nostalgic this game is. Even just the freaking, like... I gotta turn the game volume down. Even just... this. Even just the title screen is so nostalgic. So let's get into it. This is early beta. So yeah, early beta, very trial. There is no story mode. There is like a Chow Garden. We're gonna just play as Leo. Although I kind of like Sarah's, kind of my style. Look at this! Hello. Hey, little guy.
Hey, little guy.
It's just like the Chow Garden.
Hey, little guy.
Look at this. This is egg. This is my egg. You can punt? You can punt the egg? No, don't punt the egg. We go for a swim. Swim egg. Oh, I don't know if I can get out. Oh. I got you. I got you. Look how cute. Kiwi! He's just a baby! He's so cute! Wait, we have to hatch the other eggs. If I just hold them, is that how they hatch? Or is it because I threw it?
Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy.
Here, let me pet this guy.
Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy.
There's another one! Who are you? Peanut?
Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy.
Are there any more eggs here? I have to know. I need the eggs. It's very important to me that I see all the little guys. It's very important to me. It's very important to me that I see the little guys. It says use with Lumi. Alright, Kiwi, you were first. Come here. Oh, you can change their names. No, that's fine. I like Kiwi's name. Down. They're so cute! Are they talking? Oh, this is a great game. 10 out of 10. Look at his little stripes! Incredible. Amazing. So, I think he... it's so cute. Why can't I feed them? I need things to feed them with. Maybe I have to play. Maybe I have to go with the main menu. Maybe I have to actually play the game. Versus mode. I guess I'll play online. If there's anyone online. I'll play as this one. There might not be anybody online. I wonder if...
Choose your pilot. Series.
Okay, I can play against a CPU, that's fine. So, from what I know of this game, it's kind of like, if Kirby Air Ride met Sonic.
Set.
Whee! Collecting phase, okay. Well, feels good. Feels pretty good. I don't know the story or anything. Boost, charge, plus... Ah, boost -1. I don't know what these things do. Swim -1. Okay, the gray ones are bad. Slide. I gotta get used to, like, the charge. To try and aim a little better. This one's red. What does this one do? Oh, it's a bomb. I don't know if I want the bomb. There's so many things on this map. Event keep away. I don't know what that means. I'm just trying to get stuff and it said keep away, but what am I keeping away? I'm swimming. I don't know how much of this game I'm playing today. I may play for a little while and then switch to like Minecraft or something. So we'll see. Whoa, that candy made me super fast. Why do I have a UFO on my head? Every little while I gotta like stop. I like figure out what I'm doing. Is that a sword? I haven't seen the like CPU anywhere. What's that? There's a shiny thing over here. It's the apple. What does the apple do? I don't know. There's so much to like explore around. There's so much nostalgia in this game. I love it. I love all of the nostalgia for games that I've played in the past. Ah, go back! Whee! Oh, flood! Okay. What does this mean? Oh, my star is like all extra cool and spiky. I guess it just means that we're swimming now. This is interesting. Whee! Whoa! Oh, hey, I actually found my opponent. I will say I wish there were a little bit more camera controls, but that may just be a me problem. It's a bomb! Oh, it's a combat phase, that's why. That's why she's like coming for me. Oh, has she been like... Alright. I think I got her. What else can I get? Turn +1. Rank +1. What the heck is that? It's an evil. I'm losing health. Oh gosh. Oh, is there like a barrier? Okay. Healing circle. That's good. I'll take the healing circle. I gotta sit here and heal for a sec. Work on my aim a little bit, I think. Ooh, Crystal. What are you? CPU.
I zoned out for a bit. Hope I didn't miss anything important.
It's cute.
Choose your pilot.
Hang on, wait. Wait, look at this little alien guy.
Go.
I like the alien guy. He's cute. How did I not notice him before? Let's go. Ooh, my little guy is cute. Gotta collect stuff. That's the goal right now. Collect stuff. Ooh, there's a rainbow one over there. I think the rainbow one is good. Is that an egg? Evolution. I don't know what that means yet. Let's find out. There's a thing here. What are you? Swim. Is that a cookie? Whoa! Now I got a bike. I got a bike. That's a sick bike. gonna be fast. I'm gonna be so fast. That's swim. Swim. I don't know why I keep saying it like that. What I get? Evolution. Oh, I'm so fast. Ah! Rush hour. Oh gosh, I'm even faster. Whoa, I got a rocket ship. Ah! It's so fast. It's so fast. This is fine. This is fine. It's just like me for real. I can't collect anything when I'm zooming around like this. Oh my goodness. Ah! Okay, phew. Now that I can have some time to think. Charge +1. I don't know what these little mushrooms do. Whee! We're back to collecting. Ah, why is the charge not charging? Because I had a mushroom? Oh, this one can charge while... Huh? I don't know what this cart thing does. Star? Is that what they are? Are they stars? I would like an evolution, please. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like this rocket ship. It doesn't do the charge thing. I don't know how to aim without the charge thing. I think these are just evolutions. Yeah. Ooh. This one's kind of cool. It's got tentacles. All right, combat phase. Let's go find them. Let's go find them. They've got some kind of circle there. I don't know if I like that. Ah, what is this? Like dark energy. Where are you? I just want these cookies. What's over here? Where are you? Game set. Did I win? Yeah!
I have collected your data. It'll be stored in my cringe folder.
It'll be collected in my cringe folder. Okay, I love him. I love him. I love him.
Your pilot.
Wait, I wanna go... I want to go to the garden with him. Hello, my children.
Squishy.
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 Alright, this is my favorite character. I don't need to see the other ones.
Squishy.
I love him. Look at it, look at him go. Little alien guy. I need chow races. That's what I need. I need chow races. I know they're the stars, but I want the chow races. High speed race to get first place. Oh, it's not available in the demo. This is fun.
Choose your pilot.
Alright, I will try other characters. So we tried Leo. Or we haven't tried Leo in
Leo.
Cosmic Clash. Glade. I think we only have one stage for now.
Ready, set, go.
So far, I haven't noticed anything too different about how each of the characters plays. I think it's mostly just like aesthetic. But get electric, bitch. Alright, we gotta collect stuff. Get stuff. I'm excited for story mode. I think that's gonna be super fun. Especially if it's anything like the Sonic Adventure story mode. I don't want that star mushroom. That did weird things last time. Got charge plus weight. Let's be heavy. Healing circle. Where is the healing circle? No, not the power. What's this? Torquey. Cookies. Glide plus. I don't even know where the healing circle is. What's this on? Let's find out. Whee! What vehicle are you? Oh, no, I wanted that charge. Okay. What do you have? A boost plus. Oh, a boost minus. Another boost plus. Speed. That's what I really want, is the speed. Oh, I got this cool, like, blue one. Charge. Oh, don't get that charge minus, but I want the charge plus. This one has a little bit of momentum as it charges, which is kind of neat. Swim plus. Swim plus. Ooh, power. Because I know I'm gonna have to fight. I want to get more power pluses. Boost. I guess is charge the health? Because I guess that's boost. Maybe charge is health. And I've been thinking about it wrong. running into stuff. Especially with this one. This one's very floaty. Whoa. Combat phase. Alright, where are you? Oh god, with rush hour trying to do this? Did I hit like a teleporter or something? How did I end up over here? Oh god, I don't like rush hour. It's so hard to control. I ended up in the bad place. Let me go. This little heart thing. Are you good? I don't know. It seemed to do nothing. Come on. Come on. Nice. I think I got her. Where are you going? Come back here. Come on. I'm gonna get you. I think she got me. Oh god. Ah! Ah! Let me out! Is that a black hole? What? I'm gonna lose. There is the healing circle. It's not here, that's for sure. Ah! Did I win? I didn't die. I won somehow.
I didn't either.
Speed fruit added to Lumi Garden inventory. Ooh.
Choose your pilot.
Let's go. Come on, Nor. Speed fruit, huh? Is this in here? Speed fruit, turn fruit, swim fruit. Oh. Okay, can I pick this up? Okay, who do I want to give this to? Oh, I guess you're getting it. Peanut. Peanut's gonna be so fast. Let me get other turn fruit, swim fruit. I want to give the turn fruit to. Where's Kiwi? Is he over there? Kiwi, what you doing over there? Hey, Kiwi. Oh, hang on. He's having trouble. Wait, let me get the swim fruit for him so he can swim better. Because he seems to like swimming. here, buddy. Have this swim fruit. Here. I'll give the turn fruit. I'll give the turn fruit to Kiwi too. We'll see if he wants it. You want that? Yeah. You eat up, little guy. No! I pressed the wrong button! I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry! I'm so sorry! I can't believe I hit him! Here, buddy. Oh no, eat the fruit. I meant to pet him. Wait, okay, that was a glitch. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hit you. Eat the fruit. Yeah, good boy. I didn't mean to hit him, I swear. I'm sorry, Kiwi. Alright, he really wants to swim, I think. He's doing his best. Alright, let's go. Let's go play more.
Choose your pilot.
Alright, let's try. Let's try Lara. We'll just go in order. I don't think they play much different from each other, but it's interesting to try. So I guess if we do these races, we get stuff for our Loomies. Let's go! She's got a cute Loomie. Little spotty guy. Ugh. Little spotty guy. I guess as you upgrade Loomies, you'll like get more options in the real game. That bomb's purple. I don't know what that does. I definitely like turn. I like being able to turn sharp turn. I want to know what this purple bomb does. Whee! It's purple. Does something. That's for sure. Apple. Charge. See, I don't know. I feel like maybe maybe it does make the charge faster. Okay, maybe that's what that is. But it's green, so I thought it was. I don't know. Whee! Oh. Turn. Wait, I want the turn. Burger. Burger. Get to burger. Ride. Ooh, power. Whee. Okay, swimming's not too bad once you played a little while. Oh, I lost my hat immediately. I don't want too much speed because that makes it hard to do stuff. I want to be able to make like tight turns. I think that would be cool. This is really fun. I was thinking, oh, it's just a demo, so like maybe I'll play for a little while and then like move on to Minecraft or whatever. But honestly, we'll see. I don't know. I might want to just keep playing this, and maybe I don't know. Maybe some people would want to join me if they pop into chat. I don't know what keep away does. Okay. Like, oh, there's like a... Am I supposed to go to the star thing? Is this what I'm supposed to keep away? Okay. Just try and get me. I was going. It's like when I was a kid and I used to play I used to play Kirby Air Ride when I was a kid. And I would just be like roaming around while everyone else actually played the game. So, yep, that was me as a kid. I was kind of always the one who like was playing a different game while playing the same game, you know? Like, we would go out and we would play in the backyard, and they being my siblings, would be doing this, like, you know, fight scene, and they'd be like hitting each other with, you know, foam weapons and Nerf guns, and I would be in the backyard like skating around being like, dum-dee-dum, I'm gonna pick flowers. Ooh, fire. I win.
Looks like everything went according to plan, as usual.
Got a turn fruit.
Choose your pilot. Orion.
I'm gonna tell my dad to kickstart this game. He does a lot of Kickstarters for me, because he has a real income.
Ready, set, go!
Got a yellow star. Yeah, I think all the characters are the same at this point. Because it's just a practice. I wonder if they're gonna take any inspiration from Air Riders, the new one. Like, with the mini games and such. But maybe not, because they're going for that, like, nostalgic vibe, so I think they want to stay pretty faithful. I got a car! Beep, 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 beep. Beep, beep. I guess the different colors are like this one's really powerful, maybe? The one that I'm going to have. Because it's red. Oh, it's the bike again. I don't want the bike again. I already did the bike. So like this blue one's gonna be really fast. We'll find out if we get like a little speed boost. I don't know what this little heart thing does. Is that what gave me the sparkles? Oh. This game is like nostalgia personified. There's an ant on my hand. Don't like that. We have so many ants. It's really annoying. Oh, I got the bike again. There's probably only a few different ones. I like that the shields are like little marbly looking guys. Haha. It's not even a combat phase, I'm kicking your ass. Come here. Oh no, I got caught in my own bomb. That's okay. Walls are coming in. She killed herself. I didn't even do anything.
Hey, solid effort.
Hey.
I just had to show you how it's done.
This guy sounds like Sonic. Orion, he sounds like Sonic.
Your pilot.
All right, and we'll try Vela.
Vela.
Vela. This is really fun. This is really, really fun.
Set.
I'm excited to see this game in full because it's really fun. I don't think I can really do anything with the Loomies at this point. They're just cute. They're to show off the fact that you can. Which is fine. It would be fun to it would be fun if I could like start with one of my Loomies. But as far as I can tell, I don't think I can do that. I think this one is like weapons. And wait. Wait. Ah, that's not what I wanted. I want the power. Okay, now I can go wherever. Oh, there's another one. Whee! Get wrecked. Haha. Haha. The healing circle's not really a necessary thing in the collection phase. I'm not quite. Hey. Yeah. I have the most power. I'm gonna kick her little pink ass. I don't mind having swim in case we get flooded. Oh look, my little stripes are pink. Is that because I've collected a lot of power? What's this? Yellow. Wait. I don't know. All right, where are you? Oh. Oh, I guess it's glide. What did I say about getting flood? I think she's in the wall. Like, yeah. Alright, CPU's kind of dumb, but you know, what can you expect?
That was cute. Now vanish like the rest.
Glide fruit.
Choose your pilot.
Alright, let's go to the garden. Look at these! Look at these not chow! What's up, Kenj? Turn fruit, power fruit, and glide fruit. Well, I did already give turn fruit to Kiwi, so. Hi, Kiwi. Totally not chow. They're called Loomies. They turn into star gliders. Like from Kirby Air Rider. Kirby Air Ride is the first one. Glide fruit. Let's give the glide fruit to, where's Kiwi? Oh, Kiwi's in the water. Or Peanut. Sorry, Peanut is in the water. Come on, Peanut. I've got a treat for you. Here you go, buddy. Hey. Yeah, have that fruit. Alright, and then we've got power fruit. It makes me feel very Mario Galaxy / Rayman. A little bit. But they turn into star carts. Like Kirby Air Ride. Look at him! Kiwi's so cute! And Peanut. Oh, Peanut. He's so confident. Confident little guy.
Choose your pilot.
Alright, we're gonna play more with Nor because I like him. I like him a lot. He's funny little alien guy. And I like his voice lines.
Ready, set, go!
Apple. I'm excited to see what they do with the story mode, and I really hope it's Sonic Adventure adjacent. Because that's sort of the vibes I'm getting with the Chow Garden and everything. What's that exclamation point over there? Ah. Make a new guy. What I got? Green. What's green? Charge? Let's see what cart we get. Oh god, Rush Hour! I am not a fan of Rush Hour. I was gonna chill. Oh, I got this very appropriate looking cart for the alien. Whee! I literally can't do anything when it's Rush Hour. I just like I cannot control this. I was gonna hang out. I think she fell into the waterfall. I thought she was coming for me. Can it not be Rush Hour anymore? I would like to not... Okay. I would like to actually collect things now, please. I need more power. Ah! Hit a boost. It's only a weight down. No, I need. Ah! What's happening? I'm clipping through the billboard. Speed up. Charge up. I want power. It's an apple. Where's power? I want to be able to beat up my opponent. Roll good. There's a weight up. That might help. Not really. Yeah. Wait. Come on, I want power. I need power. Alright, combat phase. Already. Any power? No, it's just an apple. RNG kinda sucks this round. Alright, where's my opponent? Balloons! Come here! Here! There we go. What did I hit?
Yes.
Alright, walls are coming in. It's gonna get stuck in the walls again. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win because she's stupid. Too fast. Too fast. I don't think there's anything to do about it. I haven't gotten this black hole thing yet. What was that? Oh, it said hold, but I guess I didn't need to hold it. Yeah, she killed herself again.
You have been, how do you say, owned? Yes, owned.
I love him. You have been, how do you say, owned? He just reminds me of Peridot.
Choose your pilot.
Check something real quick. But yeah, this game is super cute. But it's the same thing over and over again. So I might just switch. I might just switch to Minecraft. Oh, Penny's here. Okay, Penny's here. We'll do one more round because Penny's here. Hang on, I just want to go to. I want to go to the Lumi Garden. 'Cause I got this charge fruit. I got this charge fruit to give to Kiwi. Kiwi, have a fruit. I love them. I love them so much. I love.
Squishy.
Yeah, hello, Chow's air ride. Yeah, so I have kiwi and I have peanut.
Squishy. Squishy.
Squishy. Yeah, I like him a lot. He's my favorite out of all of the characters.
Choose your pilot.
You know, Penny, you could play with me if you want. You could put it on the Steam Deck. Yeah? Yeah? Oh. Alright. Fine.
No.
Alright, I'll play one more round and then I think I'll switch to Minecraft. It's very fun though. I just don't think I have enough content for 3 hours.
Set. Go.
Yeah, city trial. So they have like they have the city trial mode, and then they have the they have like a racing mode, which is not in the demo, and then they have story mode, which is also not in the demo. I'm gonna get a Switch 2 for Kirby Air Riders. I have to. I have to. That's like it's one of the games I truly have nostalgia for. That they've put out recently, so I have to. I think this is a glide evolution. Yeah. Maybe for Christmas I'll get one. Cause Dad already got me a computer for my birthday, so like he's not gonna. So he's not gonna get me one for my birthday. What character am I gonna main? I don't know yet. I think I'll have to feel them out. See how they feel. Cause I like all. Oh God, not Rush Hour. I don't like Rush Hour. Let me just find somewhere to hide out. And why is it Starman? I do like Starman. I do like Starman. Good boy. Is it a Christmas game? Or is it coming out earlier than that? Oh God. Where am I going? Nobody knows. Everyone loves Starman. Yeah. How could you hate Starman? I feel like I'm teleporting places even though I'm not. Oh God. November 20th. Okay, so yeah. It's basically a Christmas game. I heard Starman would like to come and meet us, but he thinks. I feel like this is another reference I'm not getting. Oh no, a speed evolution. I'm not so good with speed. Not so good with speed. Yeah, they do have gooey. I might just main Kirby, because I like Kirby. Where are you? Which Kirby? Don't know. Maybe blue. Maybe blue Kirby.
Acceptable.
Oh, I forgot the charge on this one's weird. I got caught in my own bomb because I'm stupid. No, I need that evolution. Where is it? Okay, well, it's fine. We'll still win. Snowball Kirby. Oh, that's right. They have different special attacks. I forgot about that. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Okay, we got a power evolution. That will be good. Just anything to get me out of this stupid... I can't control this charge. Alright, where is... Oh. Where's the CPU? Dead.
I collected your data. It'll be stored in my cringe folder.
I have collected your data. It'll be stored in my cringe folder. What a guy! What a guy! I love him. Look at his stupid stance. Fucking rude. Well, Penny, I'm glad you got here for me to still be playing. I'm gonna switch over to Minecraft. So I'm probably gonna split this VOD for YouTube. So bye YouTube. Bye YouTube. Okay, yeah, you get out of here. Minecraft is uninteresting. Yeah, well. So I'm gonna quit out of here.
Choose your pilot.
Next week we got a Zelda, indeed. Next week we got a Zelda. Next week we are bringing back Baldur's Gate as well. So bye. Bye. And bye YouTube as well. I'm gonna split the VOD here. Haha. Haha. Gonna play some Minecraft. Gonna play some Minecraft. Oh, right. And I have added random karaoke. It costs a lot of candies. It's a lot of candies. But you can now make me sing stuff. And there's a few Japanese songs in there as well, so we'll see if we get that. And I will continue adding songs to it as I remember songs. Oh, you have a pitch. Go for it. Please. Hello, this is definitely a new stream and welcome to Minecraft. Okay, anyways. You have a pitch. Go for it. Tell me what your ideas are, because usually they're pretty good. I know you're going for a toy box theme. What if you went for candy? What if you went candy for chat names? Well, but candy is currency. Little gumdrops. Aw, that is cute. That is cute, little gumdrops. But no, you guys are the toys. You guys are toys in the toy box along with me. We're hanging out, playing games together. That is cute though. I really like that. I'm gonna be fixing my pickaxe again today, I think. But like, how do toys refer to each other? Is the question, I think. That's cute. But yeah, we're all toys in the toy box, in the dollhouse. I haven't quite decided where we are. I think maybe like a little like toy maker's workshop. And then in that is the dollhouse. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see when I get my live 2D subscription back. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Like, if somebody had a spare, like, $100 they could give me, then I could do that, but I wanted to, I wanted to have a new model for my birthday, and, like, have all of the new, like, lore and stuff, but didn't end up working out that way, because my Live Today subscription ran out. So we'll see. Where am I putting flint? Was I putting it in here? Yeah. I have a lot of flint though. But yeah, I don't expect to get my Live 2D subscription back anytime soon. So I don't know. Because I really wanted to spend my birthday money. I said this yesterday too. I really want to spend my birthday money on stuff that is fun for me. And like live duty is fun for me, but at the same time, it's like it's not what I want to spend my money on right now. So that's really what it is. I don't wanna. I gotta spread all this moss. Gotta spread all this moss. But like, even if I got money through like Twitch subscriptions and stuff, right? Then it wouldn't go through before my birthday. So I still wouldn't be able to do it. So yeah, it's kind of complicated. It's complicated. And I wish it wasn't quite so complicated. Alright, now that we've got this mess on our hands, I have to clean it all up again. I don't really wanna right now. I don't know about that. I don't wanna. I don't know. Maybe I should probably take all the stuff from my old kingdom and get it over here as well. For now, I'm gonna take a quick break, actually. 1 second. Okay. Okay. I'm back. I'm in such a weird mood today. I feel like I say that a lot, but yesterday was a lot. So I get off stream, right? I get off stream and everything's fine. And then I'm talking to my therapist and I have a really hard therapy session. And during that therapy session, we decide to try and call this like ID website that I'm trying to work with so that I can get into the community college near me. And I try it one more time, and then I discover it's kind of a long it's like kind of a long process to get your ID to like get to this video call that you're supposed to do to get like ID stuff. And so I do the whole process, and then she's like, okay, well, where it like puts me in like this waiting list. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. At this point, I was like so tired of waiting and like needing to rely on other people that I was just like, okay, let's do it. And so we sat there, and I showed her this new game that I was playing. It's called Potion Craft. It's really good, actually. It's a very good like mindless game. Which is good. So I was playing that while we were waiting for this call, and then it just like puts me in the call. Like it's like you have like 8 minutes, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm gonna have to do this after our therapy call is over. And she's like, well, I can stay a little while, but I can't stay too long extra. And I was like, yeah, okay. So it just like blink puts me in the call all of a sudden with like barely any warning, and I'm like, okay. So I try to set up my webcam, and my webcam is being used by Zoom for my therapy appointment, and so the webcam doesn't work. And so they're like, okay, do you have a phone? And I was like, yeah, I have a phone. And they're like, okay, well, I'll text you a link you can join via the phone. And I'm like, okay. So hey, so I joined through the phone, and then I suddenly realized that the phone can see a lot more of my torso than my webcam can. And I was not wearing my dysphoria blocker. So I got really embarrassed about that. But yeah, I did it. I got my ID verified. I put a rant in they sent me an email this morning. Being like, hey, how did you like our service? And so I put a rant in there about how shitty my experience was, because it was kind of shitty. And so yeah, that's how that went. It was a lot. And so I get off this call, and my therapist is like, I'm very proud of you for doing that, because I know that was very hard. And I was like, thank you. And I was like, I'm gonna go and see if I can get a sushi burrito now. And she was like, that sounds like a great reward for doing something hard. And so I get out, and I'm like, hey, Mom, I really want a sushi burrito, because I did this hard thing. And Mom was like, absolutely, I will get you a sushi burrito. And then and she's like, hey, message Rowan and see if he wants one also. And of course he does, because sushi burrito. Oh, I forgot about that. So yeah, of course he wants a sushi burrito, which is great. I will absolutely get him one while I am ordering myself one. and so we put our orders in to DoorDash. And so here's the thing about where I live. This is the only good sushi burrito place. It's the only one. Like, really, really, truly the only good... Oh, you're not Moss. There's an imposter here. The only good sushi burrito place where I live. And so we put in our order, and as it goes to like try and put in the order, and it turns out they're out of salmon. And that's all I really wanted was my sushi burrito order. And if you don't know, I'm autistic. If you can't tell, I'm autistic. So this just sent me over the fucking edge. They didn't have my sushi burrito, and I melted down. Just fully on, like, if you were looking at me in a grocery store, you would think I was throwing a tantrum. Like, just fully melting down. It was not pretty. It was not fun. But that is what happened. And my mom's is like, I have to go into a meeting. Like, I can't help them right now. So she calls up my grandma to say, hey, Jack needs help, and I can't help them right now. I love my grandma. She does not know how to handle an autistic meltdown. First of all, she comes in and I asked her to print out a pattern the day before. And she comes up and she has the pattern, and she's like, hey, where do you want me to put this? While I'm on the floor having a fit, like, melted down. Not helpful. And then she's like, how do I help? How do I help? And my social anxiety tends to override my meltdown, but I also tend to, like, tire myself out. So I was able to, like, sort of calm myself down and be like, okay, I have to focus. Mom isn't here right now. Basically. So it's like, you have no safety net right now. You have to deal with this on your own. So I tried my best to deal with it on my own. And I was like, okay, I need to get Rowan, because his food is also not coming. So I texted him. I said, hey, they don't have our food. Like, we need to figure out what else we want. And so he comes down. We're in the living room because mom's now in her meeting. And we're like, what do we want? What do we want? And I was really stuck on getting my sushi burrito. So it was really kind of frustrating for me to have to pick something else. So not really, just like really not what I needed in that moment. So yeah, it was a lot. But eventually we got food. I chose a regular burrito instead of a sushi burrito. But yeah, it was a lot. It was so much. There was so much going on. I need less vines, but like, I really can't do anything about them without pillaring all the way up and breaking them from the top. And I really don't want to do that. All right, let's build some villager I'm gonna okay. Let's see. Minecraft villager market stall. All right. I really like this design that I found on the internet. So I'm gonna try to do this, I think. Okay. Let's get some supplies here. All right. We need all of the spruce stuff. That's oak. Barrels, yeah. All of this. All right. Now I really hope that they don't try to spawn like when I actually get villagers in here, that they don't try to spawn oh, you know what the other thing I need is lanterns. Let's see if I have any lanterns. Do I have any lanterns? If not, I can make some. But I hope they don't try to spawn iron golems, because that's gonna be really annoying. Any of these have any? Okay. Okay, let me just... There we go. Putting lava buckets in the furnace is like the best. It's the best. Alright, let me get some more sticks. I'm gonna need more sticks. Give me all your sticks. This is a stick up. That was terrible, huh? That was really bad. That's pretty bad. I have some lanterns now. Because lanterns are better than torches. I missed it, so it didn't happen. No. But you were the one person who might appreciate it. That's how it works, right? Yeah. I was making sticks. I said, give me all your sticks. This is a stick up. It was really bad. I knew you would appreciate it, Kenj. Alright. Let's see. We've got... I think they have a, like a 4 amount of space. Like this. A stick! So I think that's pretty good. I think that's what we're looking for. Like that. And then we do this side. Like this. All right. And then we've got, goes like that. And then on each corner, too. Yeah. And then I think they also have fence gates. I don't have any fence gates on me. We'll just do regular fences. Alright. I gotta figure out how many of these I can actually fit as well. The fence gates would probably look better, but... No, the fence gates would definitely look better. I need to make some fence gates. That's fine. I'm gonna need to... I need like a tree farm. Apparently there is a real tree farm called Bedrock Tree Farm. I really don't want to use TNT, so we'll just do it manually. But for now, I will just grab I'll just grab what I have. Do we have any spruce anywhere? I'm a farm failure. I have no tree farm. Tree farms are really hard on a server. So don't feel bad about that one. Any more spruce anywhere? Nope. Okay. I will just deal with what I have. And I will pick a different wood to make sticks out of. Yeah. It's, yeah, well, tree farms are tricky in general, and the reason I don't want to make a tree farm personally is I don't want to deal with TNT, and that is often what people use for it. So, yeah. It's tricky. Oh, I want it. Could do cherry. I don't know if I have a place for cherry or pale oak. All right, we'll make sticks. That's probably good. Yeah, and creeper hunting is problematic. Yeah. We don't wanna blow anybody's stuff up. No. In what world is that what I wanted? In what world? Okay. Okay. You know what? I hate this. I hate when blocks get really specific. Okay. What are all the different types of villagers? Blast furnace, smoker, photography table, brewing stand, composter. I put farmers here and then more farms, maybe? There's nothing back here, so I could potentially like put more farms back here, put the farmers here. I know I have to be careful about barrels. Because I don't want people to accidentally become fishermen. The thing we're gonna want the most of is librarians. Alright. I don't have enough trapdoors either. Alright, let's go make more trapdoors. And I need my wool. Cyan and yellow, maybe? Oh. Thunder. Are my banners? I don't. Where are they? Banners. Why do I have wheat seeds? Alright. Get this iron. I need a lot of lanterns. Make 8 at a time. Alright, there we go. We have almost a stack of lanterns. That's pretty good. Okay. Thoughts. Where are they? Oh, right. I needed, there was a reason that I was here. Okay. Running out of materials, but that's fine. It's fine. Let me just... And that's not the best way to break, is it? Alright. So I can kind of get up here. That's not really helpful. There we go. Oh, look at that. Is it like that, or is it one forward? It might be one forward. Definitely gonna need some lanterns. No, I think that's... Hmm. Let me look. Oh, they're also not using... Hmm. Okay. Do I wanna... We'll try it. We'll try it. We'll try it. We'll try it. And then if it looks bad, I'll just do it again. And it might look bad. That's okay, because I kind of want to do something more simple than what I'm seeing. That's not what I said to do at all. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Got it. It's cute. I do think it needs to go up in the back, though. All right. So, whoops. Now I'm trapped. Need to... I do a stair here. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Do I still want to... I think I still want to follow the pattern. With the trapdoors. No. Yeah, Minecrafting. I played Star Garden for a little while and then I decided to craft. That's cute, I think. I think that's cute. I think I like that. Let's build another one here. Let's see. I guess I'll build it one away. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, wait, what? How did I do this? Boop, boop, boop. Alright, let me just stick some lanterns in here. Light it up. This one, the front is 2. And then the back is 3. Yeah, the back is 3. Yeah, I played Star Garden for about an hour. And then I sort of, it's just a trial, so I sort of like ran out of content. This dance looks so cute. You're so much kinder to the villagers than I am. It's more that I just want to keep my kingdom aesthetic. Because this is the amount of space that they get. I mean, and then they're gonna have, so they're gonna be like here, and then they have their workstation, and then a bed. And I think that's how it's gonna go. Do I have to give them a bed? They were turning all very hidden and evil, looking for a reason. Let them run around their enclosure. Yeah. Yes, they need a bed. Okay. I thought about like building the little houses, but the problem is that I would really like them to be here when I need to trade, so. This is the annoying part. Stupid fence gates. Stupid fence gates. They look really good. I was gonna do, maybe I'll do a decoration on the outside of, the thing. I could make this area look really cute and colorful if I made banners for each. Oh, now I have to. Let me look up Minecraft. Let me go Minecraft. If I look for banners and I search yeah. So I could totally, I think I like the, okay. I need my sheep. I need my sheep. Did I just go through the portal? I think it did. I need to put stuff away so I can bring my sheep through. I need to bring sheep through the nether. Oh, God. Let me build a little space for them. We'll put them... We'll put them back here. We'll have to replace this with grass. That's okay. How many villagers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I get 2 per... I get 2 per thing, so I need at least 6 stalls. So I think I can spare this area for sheep. 6 or 7 stalls. I'm just too lazy to build a wool factory. It's not kind, it's lazy. Yeah, maybe eventually I'll build a wool factory. But for now I'm just doing this. If I put grass here, is it gonna grow? I forgot about that hole. I forgot about that hole. This is what happens when I just do things without thinking about it. I survived, though. So, you know, that's what matters. I had to silk touch a grass block to get grass underground. If I use the wrong tool for that, will it work? Like, if I use my silk touch pickaxe, is it gonna work to... Do I need a silk touch shovel? No. Don't wanna. That sucks. Well, we'll try it. We'll try it. We'll try it. Worst case, it doesn't work. And we need something else. I don't recall that working for me, but it could have been an old version. Don't know. We're gonna find out. Right. But there's some... Oh, it's nighttime. I gotta sleep. It's EP time. This is my house. No harm trying. Cause getting a silk touch shovel is kind of a pain. It'll take a bite out of my pickaxe, but that's fine. See if it works. Where is there grass? Is there grass? There's some grass around here. And, you know, maybe I can get the sheep underground another way. There might be sheep around here that I can bring back instead of trying to get my sheep. And then whoever lives in the snow biome can have those sheep, I guess. Yeah, there's some grass over here. Oh, there's sheep right here. It works! It totally works! Hey. You want some wheat? Oh, that cow might be coming with us. Alright, that's fine. Alright, come on, sheepy. Come on, sheepy, sheepy. Let's see if you guys can... Hmm. Hmm. What happened to the cow? I guess the cow left. How goes the hobbit hole? It's going pretty well. Let's see. Yes. Good. Come on, in the hole. In the hole. Yes. Yeah. Farewell, my son. Did I pick up that glass again? I didn't. All right. Come on, sheepies. Alright, you guys get to be in here for now. Come on. Come on. Wake up, sheeple. Can the sheep really not get in the door? Alright, you know what? That's fine. You guys just wander around while I fix up your pen. Sheep's faces are fucked up. All of the animals' faces are pretty fucked up. Alright, little sheepies, come here. Where's your brother? Oh boy. I said brother, but I'm about to be breeding these sheep, so that's actually really weird, and I should not have said that. Just ignore me. Just don't listen to me. Alright, enjoy your new home. I mean, all the animals in Minecraft are girls anyways, so it's like Jurassic Park. Jackal, you ever make a mistake? Yeah, exactly. Chat, have you ever made a mistake? It's funny. Ancient China would call gay men couples sworn brothers. Interesting. Maybe they're sworn brothers? Maybe. Maybe they are sworn brothers. That's funny. Okay. I guess that means that I'll have to figure out where everybody is going. Let's see here. Dirt. Organize, organize, organize. Yeah, no mistakes here. Oh, I am not getting a creeper charge. No. No, no, no. How are you supposed to get a creeper charge in... How are you supposed to get the creeper banner pattern in the real game? Because you need a creeper head. The heck? You have one? How? How did you get one? Did they like, are they loot somewhere? Can you duplicate them? I made a trident that has channeling but no impaling. Oh. That is rad. I would love to trade you for a creeper head. Or a banner pattern. Oh gosh, I also need a wither skeleton skull. If I want, okay, hang on. If I want all of the banner patterns, what do I need to do? I have flower charge. I have field mason. So I would need a wither skeleton skull. An enchanted golden apple? That's not happening. Oh, the globe pattern is just from... Okay, well, I don't think I need that. Do I? Okay, hang on. What do I actually need? Creeper charge. Those are in my backyard. Yeah, I know. I think it's just... Oh, border indented. Oh, that's just vines. I got plenty of those. I have a couple patterns I can copy if you want to trade pattern for pattern. I'm down. I'm just trying to figure out what I actually need. Most of these use what's just in the loom. So I think that's okay. I think it's just the creeper charge. Yeah, I think it's just the creeper charge because I can go get some vines. Those are really easy. I have a ton of them. And they're really annoying. Boop. And once you have one, I think you can just use them, right? I think you can just use them forever. Where did I put the other one? I have these two. I'll put them in here. Paper. Paper and a vine. That. And I have that one. Yeah, I think the only one that I need is I need a creeper head. Bleck, what can I trade you for a creeper head? I know that's kind of a big ask. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get, I feel like. If you don't have one, that's fine. Oh, I can probably figure something else out. I don't have any mob skulls, just creepers blowing up Creepers is more rare and hard to initiate from spawn rates and shit. Yeah. Yeah. You need two creepers right next to each other. And then you need to have one of them be charged and not the other one. Yeah, it sounds like a pain in the ass. So I have a diamond. Like, what do I have? Oh, I have a ton of copper. You're using copper in your builds, right? Feathers or arrows? I do have some arrows. I have a bunch of flint. I have a bunch of flint. Let's see, arrows. You can have all of my copper. That's fine. I will even smelt it all for you so that it's ready to be used. Yeah. I don't have a lot, but I have a couple of arrows I can send your way. I have a bunch of flint, but that's not hard to get, so. Yeah. Yeah, I will smelt all of this and then I will send it your way. Put it in your mailbox for a creeper head. Here a head. I'll put these 12 arrows too, because why not? As a little bonus. Just a little bit of a bonus. These are going here. You know what? I'm gonna go to... Yeah. I'm gonna go build one of the little market stalls that I've been building. I'm gonna go build one at spawn so that I can start, like, trading stuff. And that'll be what I use. Just like a little piece of... I think it would be so cool if everyone had, like, a little piece of their area. I had one. I gotta go back and find it. It's like a little piece of their kingdom in spawn. I think would be really cool. Oh, other way. Where is that minecart that I accidentally stole? There it is. Just make a mailbox in the nether. Oh, yeah. Where would I put a mailbox? I guess I'll put it outside my house when I've built my house. You could build a stagecoach at spawn. That'd be cute. Okay, spawn is 2 stations. We're gonna start building out spawn. Make it look cute. Oh, I should have brought some stone with me and moss. Oh well. I'll do it later. I'll add on. You're making a train that goes to spawn. Oh, that's cool. Like in the overworld? It's cool. Overworks. Alright. Oh yeah, I can see it. Alright. Where do we want to put this? Because we kind of already have builds here. I don't want to, like, interrupt anything. I don't have a shovel. That's dumb. I could dig this area out. I think that's what I'll do. Because I don't think anything's really going on over here. Just these skeleton horses. Try to make this look natural. I think I want it 4 wide. It has to be a little bit different because of how, because I was building it for villagers. And this one's gonna be built for humans. Alright. I'm also going to... Oh, some books. Very nice. I'm also gonna break this and take it with me. And it's gonna be in here. Just put it here. So, let's see. It's gonna be... four wide, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. And then... Or I could start it here. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. So it's kind of in the same sort of spot. We'll go 3 back. Yeah. Like that. I will put this sign back. This goes up. This goes up. I want it 1 wider, I think. It's gonna kind of mess up the pattern, but I think that'll be better. Do I have any? Yeah. I don't know if I have enough, but... Oh gosh, I hit this part. I'm probably not gonna have enough. I could just do the front and the back for now. Like, for a second I thought... I don't know, I heard Opal yelling, and like for a split second I was like, wait, is my door open? No, she's just really loud. She's just a very loud cat. Yeah, she's just a loud cat. No. Can I get... up there? I think I'll just pillar. I'll just pillar. Alright. Anyways. Perfect. Then we'll put our little flag. Nice. And then I'll put some barrels here. Oh wait, this is no weird going on here. What is this? There we go. That's cute. I don't have any spruce signs. Otherwise I would swap that out for spruce. Excuse me. There we go. I thought I had fixed it, but I did not. Okay. I will put some barrels back here. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take out this part back here. So there's a little more space. So I think that'll look better. Oh, now I'm stuck. Alright. And then eventually I'll put a sign here. Maybe I'll decorate this some more. Oh wait, I need to keep one to make new... make new ones. Okay. So yeah, now I have a little market stall thing. Maybe it will encourage other people to do the same. I'm going to light that back up, of course, just with Lanterns. Yeah, that's so cute. Make sure everything's nicely lit up. Okay. I'm gonna put any materials that I picked up in here. That was just the bamboo fences. And I'll leave a couple torches just in case someone needs them. That seems like a good thing to leave in here. Oh, I do have a shovel. I had a shovel this entire time. But yeah, now there's a little market stall for Sunwell. Sunwell's Sundries? I like Sunwell Sundries actually kind of a lot. I'm gonna take a nap. Alright. Kind of like Sunwell Sundries. Let's go get some, because there's some spruce nearby. Like that way. I say nearby, but it's gonna take a second to get there. But it's fine. I guess I could go through the nether, but sundries is a word, right? Yeah. Various item not important enough to be mentioned individually. I don't know about that. I like the alliteration, though. Is the alliteration good enough to ignore the meaning of the word? Sundries is a word. I do like it. I think I like it enough to ignore it, because nobody's really gonna look up words the way I do. Nobody, well, in this neurodivergent Minecraft server? Maybe. Oh, hello, 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 hello. Whoop. 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 Oh, I missed. But yeah, if we go this way towards the taiga. Towards my old home. I know this path well. Because I kept dying. Yeah, the whole Discord is neurodivergent or damn close. Yeah. I would be shocked to hear if someone in the Discord didn't have some mental disability or problem. Neurodivergent in some way, or at least like depression, anxiety, all of that. Right? Like, I would be surprised. I am the problem. I would nearly guarantee that everyone in the server is either autistic or ADHD. I would be shocked. I would be shocked if otherwise. Let me up. I don't remember who built this dock, but it's very cute. It will not let me up, though. Help. I'm pushing this boat out of the way. Alright. I don't remember who built this, but it's very cute. I'm trying to decide if I want to take my drawing tablet to my dad's house this weekend. And, like, I kind of do, because I've kind of been having fun drawing at his house. But the last time I took it, my suitcase took a bite out of my drawing tablet. The plastic on the side and the screen protector in that spot are all, like, kind of fucked up now. And I don't want to do that again. But I also, and also it's really heavy and I'm really not supposed to lift heavy things. So, oh, we're here. I don't know. Hello, Fox. Wow, look at this cave. That's a cool cave. But yeah. I don't know. But I want to be able to draw at his house. And drawing on my iPad is like so slippery. I don't like it. It doesn't feel right. After getting this tablet, it just doesn't feel right. Good news! I love good news! Yay! Creeper skull! Yatta! Thank you! Means I can make more banners. Do I want to try and take my old sheep through the nether? Kinda! But I'd have to, like, figure out how to do it. I have to... I will do that. Absolutely. You can have all of my copper. I get so much... I live in a cave. There is so much copper. There is infinite copper. Basically. And nobody else has claimed it, so... At least I don't think so. If I promised copper to someone else, whoops. Alright. How much do I want to stand around here and... I may have promised some copper to Luke, so I may give you half and leave the other half for them. So I have a feeling... I remember someone asking for copper, actually. And me saying that I would save it for them. But I don't remember who. 'Cause I'm really bad at that. There's so much of it. I guess I'll go until I feel like my axe is about to give out, and then I will... I don't want to break my axe. I am seeing that it is a little bit low. I don't want to run out run out of axe power. In the lighting, some of this spruce almost looks like oak, and it's confusing me. I'm like, wait, did I just chop down the wrong tree? Yeah, it's nice that they're giving us a reason to mine copper. Because, like, unless you're doing something very specific, I feel like it's kinda useless. Like, you have to really want one of the colors that it offers, and I feel like it doesn't fit everywhere. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just uncreative, I don't know. Okay, let's my axe is gonna die, so let's not continue. Yeah, it's gonna be good to have more reason to mine copper. Like, the copper torches are gonna be interesting, because I feel like I find more copper than coal. Oh yeah, bees. Nomi does bees, right? That's one of her exports is bee wax and honey. I think that's her. Wallenhell, Grunwald. Yeah. Yeah. In what? We don't know, because there's no diamonds on this server. I'm gonna take this boat. Take it where? Back to spawn. This boat is mine now. Thank you. There's still a boat there. And I'm pretty sure one of them was mine to begin with. Alright, let's not, It's really different, exploring at night. What if I make it spooky? What if I make it spooky? You have diamonds! Oh, look how spooky! I haven't made a bee farm because I don't want to muscle in on our market. Yeah. Yeah. It's so dark. I love my glowy stars, though. Makes me so happy. Oh, what died here? This, like, rail over here, I think it is, really looks like airplane runway lights. I think that's kind of funny. Yeah, farm responsibly. Yeah, it looks really cool. It looks like airplane runway lights. That's what it looks like. Railway farm. I have something at home. My cute little stand. Alright, let's go in here and sleep. Take a nap. And I'm gonna make a quick little sign. First of all, I'm gonna upgrade this sign. Uh, yeah. There we go. Cute. Yeah. Yeah. Should make my eyes glow. That'd be cool. What if I did? How do I do that? What if I... Where is it? Is it... Here? Include items. Hmm. Customize scene lighting. Alright, where's my... I'm gonna cover things for a second. Ooh, wait, that's pretty. Hi, I see you. Oh, X glitter. I gotta like go through everything. Glitter. Glitter, glitter, all of the glitter. Yeah. Where is my... Okay, yeah, it's working. That's pretty. All right, anyways. I don't have the copper on me right now. The actual established stand is great. We should all do one. Moxie's been saying that from the beginning. Yeah. Well, I have started it. Now I have started it. What if I took anything that was shiny, right? What if I did Sorry, I'm being obnoxious right now, but what if I search for shine? I don't want the eye shines. Hair flip shine. Shine, 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 shine. How sparkly am I now? Ooh. Yay. Hmm. I don't think I have a shine on the earring. That's okay. All right. Like Mox was saying, we should make a pier and let everyone have a kiosk in a row. Yeah, yeah, like a boardwalk. I think this was the start of the boardwalk, and then it just never went anywhere. Yeah. But now I'm all shiny. Wow. Um. Yeah, that would be good. Did I still anything else? We shall see. We shall see. So far, we have one cute little stand. And maybe there will be more someday. Be fun since Spawn is in the jungle. Yeah. I think it'd be cool if each stand represented the kingdom, right? So mine looks like one of the market stalls in my area, right? And then I'm gonna put some like stone and stuff on the around it so that it has like a little spot. And maybe I'll add like glowberries and stuff. Yeah. Like the little camp areas in Baldur's Gate. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, it's about that time. It's about that time. So this is where we shall leave the stream. Don't work gonna stop me from using my aesthetic and color palette. Yeah, no, we don't want to. It is about that time to end the stream. So thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me. Next week, we are coming back with Zelda on Wednesdays and Baldur's Gate on Thursdays. I think. Cross your fingers. So So I believe next week, Wednesday will be Zelda, and Thursday will be Baldur's Gate once again. And maybe Mondays will be Minecraft. Maybe I'll swap between Minecraft and art depending on. I'm a little burnt out on art right now, so I don't know how that's gonna go. But thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me for today, and I hope to see you on Monday when I will be back doing probably this. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye bye.